Hi all, Namah Shivaya. So this is my first go live lecture that I'm giving on YouTube. It's always a hassle sometimes, to record a lecture and pass through that in a video editor and then add pictures and upload it to YouTube. It takes a lot of time. So I thought this would be helpful, and I just wanted to give a try and give a short lecture. It's going to be a very short lecture. As you see the title, it's Lord Shiva with infinite refulgence, infinite radiance. That's the topic. So Lord Shiva, Bhagavan Mahadeva, is referred with like four important references are there in the Vedas. There might be many, but in as far as my little knowledge is concerned, there are four important references where Lord Shiva is described with full of radiance and infinite refulgence at the end of the day. So tejas, teja itself means radiance or refulgence. One who has infinite radiance. Yo vai rudraksa bhagavan yaccha tejas tasmai vai namo namaha. Atharva Shiras uses that. So Lord Shiva is the embodiment of splendor, infinite splendor or infinite radiance at the end of the day. And you find the reference to Teja also coming in the Samaveda very often. The Supreme is always full of Tejas. But the Supreme also has a form. That is kind of my next topic, which I'll be touching upon. The second is Bhrāja. Bhrāja also in Sanskrit means, like shining or glowing, bright, splendor, radiance. The Shukriya Parvam of Samavedam starts off by saying, Bhrāja ova, Bhrāja ova, Bhrāja ova, Agnir Murdhadi Kute. It goes like that. So the Bhrāja also means is very synonymous to Teja, which means infinite refulgence. And you find this word very often coming in the Samaveda Shukriya Parvam, which, it is a dedication to worshipping the sun. Actually, not worshipping the sun, worshipping Mahadeva in the middle of the sun. So, Adityam Bimba Madhyastam Raktamurtim Sadashivam. Parashara Upapuranam starts off by saying, Saura Mandala Madhyastam Sambam Samsara Bheshajam Nilagrivam Virupaksham Namami Shivam Avyayam. So, which means, one should meditate on Samba Shiva, Amba and Mahadeva in the middle of the sun. And that's what it means. So you see that, coming in the Shukriya Paravam of Samavedam, Bhrāja. And then you have vidu. Vidu you find in the seventh Anuvakam of Rudram. Meghyaya cha vidyutyaya cha nama idriyaya cha tapyaya cha namo vatyaya cha reshmiyaya cha namo vastavyaya cha vastupaya cha. The seventh Anuvakam of Rudram, which belongs to the Krishna Yajurveda Taittiriya Samhita, 4th canto, 5th chapter, Chaturtha Kanda, Panchama Prapataka. So there in the seventh Anuvakam of Rudram, you find Vidyu, he is the embodiment. Megyayacha, he is the embodiment of the clouds at the end of the day. And also he is the embodiment of he is the personification of the splendor, infinite splendor. And also you find references, Vidyu. This also comes in the Shukla Yajurvedam. Shukla Yajurvedam also contains the Shatarudriyam. But it's a kind of where, you sing it like a song. It doesn't, it's not like the Krishna Yajurveda Rudram, but the verses are the same. And you find this reference of Vidyu present there also. And another interesting reference where Vidyu comes, like the Vaidyuta, the reference to the word Vaidyuta, which is, derived from Vidyu only. So just like the root word for Aishwaryam is Ishwara. Aishwaryam means prosperity, right? And Aishwaryam, the root word is Ishwara. Ishwara means the Supreme Lord, the controller, the Supreme Controller gives Aishwaryam at the end of the day to the devotees and the Devatas, the Danavas, the Jivatmas, etc. Everybody. And also all the Devatas. So likewise, Vaidyuta, the root word for Vaidyuta is Vidyu, which means, shining or the lightning. like the lightning that comes in the midst of the blue clouds. So, atakasmad uchyate vaidyutam yasmad ucharyamana eva vyakte mahati tasmai dyotayati tasmad uchyate vaidyutam. So, which means just by recitation of vaidyuta, just by reciting vaidyuta or vidyu, it illuminates one's body, which is in complete darkness. So, ahankar, Aditya Varnam Tamasak Parastha. Just by meditating on the personality who is eternally with Uma or Amba, one goes beyond darkness. That is the purpose, at the end of the day. And to go beyond darkness, one has to take up a guru. The word guru itself means the one who removes darkness. So just by reciting Vaidyuta, one's body gets illuminated completely. It becomes enlightened about Lord Shiva, and which is existing, which is completely in darkness, but it gets illuminated, becomes enlightened by reciting that word Vaidyuta. So you find that reference Vaidyuta present in the Atharva, coming in the Atharva Shiras. And also, one Upabrahmanam supporting fact for this comes in the Linga Purana. Linga Purana, first canto, 72nd chapter, 90th verse. There is a beautiful verse. Atha vibhati vibhor vishadam vapur bhasita bhasitam ambikayataya sitamiva brahmaho iha vidyuta nabhasi devapate parameshtinaha. Parameshti, the Supreme Lord, actually. That comes again in the Samavedam, 9th Samam of Rudram. Parameshti, Parameshti. That's how it says. So there is a reference to that. And which means the Supreme, or the Supreme Controller, or the Supreme Lord. Parameshti itself means that. And here you see the pure, the reference or the meaning to the Linga Purana verse is basically the pure white body of the Supreme Lord. Like Mahadeva is described as Shuddhas Patika Sankasha. The camphor white body of the Supreme Lord was shining with bhasma, and in the company of Amba, the Divine Mother, it was like the lightning in the midst of the blue clouds. So that vidyu, is referred to as lightning, or like splendor or radiance or refulgence. It could mean different things. That vidyu comes here. So it was in the company of the Divine Mother. It was like the lightning, seeing the lightning in the midst of the blue clouds. So here the blue clouds is compared to the Divine Mother Amba, and the lightning is actually compared to Lord Shiva. And this very striking reference comes as a part of the Mahanarayana Upanishad. Nilato yada madhyastad vidyulleke vabhasvara. So that's how they reside in the hearts of all the living entities, and also in the hearts of all the devatas like Narayana, Brahma, Indra, etc. It's like the white lightning coming in the midst of the blue clouds. The midst of blue clouds is actually compared to Parvati Mata, and the lightning is compared to Lord Shiva. And these references are spoken of everywhere. It's not just Linga Purana. You find the reference also in the Mahabharata, Anushasana Parva, 14th chapter, where Upamanyu Maharshi, when he envisions Lord Shiva, this description comes. It was like, when Lord Shiva was about to appear, it was like actually the white lightning appeared in the midst of the blue clouds. It was like the white lightning appearing in the midst of blue clouds. Having the darshan of Lord Shiva along with Parvati Mata was like that. When Krishna meditates on Lord Shiva for 6 months to have the darshan of Mahadeva, at that time also this reference comes. Very beautiful reference. I don't remember that on the top of my mind. I am sorry for that. But, one can refer the Upamanyu episode, on which I have given lectures 4 years back. So that's a very beautiful thing. So you see the references all over the scriptures, vidyu comes. So that's the third reference where Lord Shiva is described with full of radiance or refulgence. And finally, you find the word grinni. This also comes, in the Vedas, in the Pancharudram, in the Rigveda mantra, you have the Pancharudram. There are 5 beautiful chapters that glorify Lord Shiva. In that, the second mandala, 33rd chapter, 6th verse, there is a reference. Grinni vachaya marapa ashiya vivaseyam rudrasya sumnam Kva asyate rudramrulaya kurhasto yo Shakti Bheshajo Jala Ashaha. The 6th verse, 33rd chapter of the 2nd mandala. So uses the word grinni. So grinni again, very synonymous to being, like full of splendor and full of radiance at the end of the day. So that's what it means. And this grinni also, the Upabrahmanam, comes in the Kurma Puranam. Kurma Mahapuranam, 1st canto, 15th chapter, 15th verse, where Daksha sings a beautiful stuti for Lord Shiva. There it says, one of the verses, striking reference, guys. It says, Esha Rudro Mahadeva Kapali cha Grini Haraha Adityo Bhagavan Suryo Nilagrivo Vilohitaha Asavyo Vasarpati Nilagrivo Vilohitaha. That comes in Rudram. So that is the second part, second line, which says Adityo Bhagavan Suryo Nilagrivo Vilohitaha. But the reference for Grini comes in the first line. Esha Rudro Mahadeva Kapali cha Grini Haraha. He is referred to as Grini, which means, he is full of splendor and radiance and refulgence. That radiance, which still even Brahma and Hari are still searching for, So that's why, he's referred to as Ananta. Atharvashiras uses the word. Very beautiful 13 names for Lord Shiva are present in the Atharvashiras Upanishad, and one of them is Ananta. So we saw one of them was Vaidyuta. There is another beautiful name he is referred to as Ananta, which means he is infinite. He is immeasurable. And that's why he is referred to as Ananta. So we saw the references. So going back to what I was saying, Lord Shiva is described with, like full of radiance or infinite refulgence, so one we saw Teja, and the other is actually Bhrāja. The third one is Vidu. The fourth one is Grinni. So please, meditate on these names and also meditate on the divine form of Mahadeva. I'll be touching on the topic, Lord Shiva with a form. But at the same time, we need to understand that he alone is infinite. That's why he is worshipped as Sakala and Nishkala. Nishkala is that formless aspect, or the Sarvatvam aspect of Lord Shiva. Sakala aspect is he has a form. And his form is not material. It's not made up of the Panchabhutas. If I cut my hand, blood will ooze out of my hand, because my body is made up of blood, bones, fecus, etc. Like that, everyone's, like Brahma, Hari, and Indra. Maybe, like Brahma, Hari, and Indra, they have some divine bodies because, they are devatas, but they are also bound to destruction. But Lord Shiva's form or body is not made up of the Panchabhutas. It's completely divine. That will be my next topic. So these are the 4 divine names, like that are where Lord Shiva is referred to as, like Teja, Bhrāja, Vidyu, Grinni, which means he's full of splendor. And there is a striking reference that comes to my mind, very beautiful reference. Bhagavatam 8th canto, 7th chapter, 31st verse. So there also it says, Nate giri trakila lokapala virinchi vaikuntha surendra gamyam. So even Virinchi, like that refulgence or that radiance that is coming out of that form or the body of Lord Shiva cannot be understood even by Virinchi, Brahmadeva, Vaikuntha, Vishnudeva or Narayana, and then Surendra, that is Mahendra or Indra, the king of heaven. So the king of, or the person in charge, or the being in charge of Satyaloka, or the being in charge of Vaikuntha, and the being in charge of Swargaloka, even they cannot understand the refulgence or the radiance coming out of the body of Lord Shiva. So that's the thing. And thank you. This is, like I would go live, very often. And this is also, as I said before, it's literally sometimes a hassle, like to actually record a lecture, and then it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy actually. So I'll be going live very often. I'll keep you guys posted, and thank you. Take care. Namah Shivaya.